Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be diving into the world of TikTok, but with a little bit of a twist.
Yeah.
We're actually going to be looking at some insights from the SocialWick Podcast,
Interesting.
which is a podcast that's all about succeeding on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
So it's really fascinating that they would dedicate an entire episode to TikTok.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting.
But they're saying that TikTok is like the platform that brands need to dominate in 2025.
That's a big statement.
So yeah, we're going to kind of see what they have to say.
I'm curious.
And just for context, the SocialWick Podcast, they're very serious, no nonsense,
Right.
very straightforward.
Okay.
But we're going to make it a little more fun and engaging. So what we're going to try to answer today is, why is TikTok so crucial for brands in 2025? How do we create content that works on the platform?
Good question.
And how do we strategically use TikTok ads? So with that out of the way, let's dive right in. So first things first, why should you even care about TikTok? Did you know that TikTok has over 1 billion monthly active users?
Wow.
That's right. We're not talking about some niche little app here.
Right.
This is a massive market.
Huge.
So, and you might be thinking, oh, TikTok, that's just for dancing and funny videos.
That's what I thought at first.
But it's really become so much more than that.
Yeah, it's definitely evolved.
And one of the big reasons for that is TikTok's algorithm.
I've heard that's a game changer.
So how is it different from, let's say, Instagram?
Well, on Instagram, you really have to pay to play these days.
Right.
If you want your content to be seen,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to boost those posts. You've got to run ads.
Yeah, it's all about the algorithm.
But TikTok is completely different.
Oh, really?
Their algorithm prioritizes discoverability.
So what does that mean?
It means that even small brands can go viral without having to spend a ton of money on ads.
That's incredible.
It's all about showing users content that they'll find engaging,
Regardless of.
regardless of whether it comes from a big brand or a small creator.
That's amazing.
So even if you have a limited budget, you can still reach a huge audience on TikTok.
So that's a game changer for like small businesses then.
Absolutely. It levels the playing field.
Wow.
And here's another stat that might blow your mind.
Yeah.
61% of TikTok users have discovered new products on the platform.
61%.
That's huge.
That is a lot of people.
And it just goes to show how much potential there is for brands to connect with their target audience in a meaningful way.
So it's almost like the way that people discover products and services is changing.
Exactly.
It's not about like going to Google anymore
Right.
or like searching on Amazon.
It's all about social discovery now.
Yeah, it's like window shopping, but in the digital age.
I like that analogy.
You're just scrolling through your feed. And then boom, you see a product you didn't even know you needed.
And then you're adding to cart.
Oh yeah, I've definitely been influenced by TikTok a few times.
Me too.
It's just so good at showing you things you're interested in.
It's all about that personalized experience.
So, okay, we've established that TikTok is a big deal.
Definitely.
But what about the content itself? What works on this platform? Because it's different from what you might be used to seeing on other platforms.
Yeah, it's a whole different beast.
So what sets TikTok apart?
Well, one of the biggest things is authenticity. You don't need fancy equipment or a big budget to succeed on TikTok.
Really?
In fact, the SocialWick Podcast, they said it best. They said authenticity is king when it comes to TikTok content.
So what does that mean practically? Are we talking like shaky camera footage,
Yeah.
off-the-cuff commentary?
Not necessarily, but it's more about being real, being relatable, and showing your personality.
Okay,
People are tired of overly polished corporate-feeling content.
I can see that.
They want to see the human side of brands,
Yeah.
the people behind the products and services.
So less corporate jargon, more behind-the-scenes fun. I can get behind that. But what about trends? Aren't those a big part of TikTok?
Trends are definitely huge on TikTok, but it's not about blindly jumping on every trend that comes along.
Right, because then you're not being authentic.
Exactly. You need to find trends that align with your brand values and resonate with your target audience.
Give me an example. I'm trying to picture myself doing a dance in my office, and that's not really on brand for me.
Think bigger than that.
Okay.
Remember the feta pasta recipe that went viral a while back?
Oh yeah, everyone was making that.
That was a trend, and brands jumped on it in really creative ways.
I remember seeing a lot of those videos.
You had food brands showcasing their ingredients, kitchenware companies showing off their tools, even grocery stores making videos about the feta cheese flying off the shelves.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It was relatable, it was topical, and it worked because it felt authentic.
I see. So it's not just about like being funny or whatever. It's about tying it back to your brand. So Does every video need to be a viral sensation? What about just sharing valuable content that's relevant to my industry?
That's absolutely valuable too. The SocialWick podcast actually highlighted a few other content pillars that work really well on TikTok. Things like humor, behind the scenes glimpses, and educational content.
Okay, break those down for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm all for a little humor, but how do I make it work for my brand?
Humor is all about being relatable and showing that you don't take yourself too seriously.
Okay.
It could be a funny skit about a common customer service issue, a relatable meme about your industry, or even just a blooper reel from your latest video shoot.
Okay.
The key is to be genuine and have fun with it.
I love that. What about behind-the-scenes content? What makes that so compelling?
People are naturally curious. They want to see how things are made, who the people are behind the brand, and what goes on behind the scenes.
Right.
It humanizes your brand and helps you build a stronger connection with your audience.
So like give a tour of the office.
Exactly.
Introduce the team.
Yeah.
Show how products are made.
All great ideas.
It's like inviting your audience into your world, which
Yep.
builds trust.
And transparency.
And what about educational content? Because I feel like that could get kind of dry and boring.
Not if you do it right. Remember, TikTok is all about short-form, attention-grabbing content.
Right.
So instead of lengthy lectures, think quick tips, hacks, or tutorials
Okay.
related to your industry. Maybe you can share a 60-second recipe using your products, or a quick styling tip using your clothing line, or explain a complex concept in a simple way.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here. But with all this great content, what's the secret sauce?
The secret sauce is consistency, and that's something the SocialWick podcast really emphasized. It's not about going viral overnight.
Okay.
It's about showing up consistently, building trust with your audience, and becoming a familiar face in their feed.
So it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
I can handle that.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious about the paid side of TikTok. Tell me about TikTok ads.
Let's dive into that.
So TikTok ads, now I know some people might hear ads and immediately tune out.
Yeah, I get that.
But TikTok ads, they're different.
How so?
They're not about like interrupting people scrolling with annoying pop-ups or banners.
Right.
It's more about seamlessly integrating your brand
Yeah.
into the content that people are already consuming.
Okay. That makes sense.
So the SocialWick podcast, they highlighted a few key types of TikTok ads that brands can leverage.
Okay.
We have in-feed ads, branded hashtag challenges,
Interesting.
and branded effects.
Okay, let's break those down.
Yeah, so in-feed ads, what are those?
Those are pretty similar to the sponsored posts that you see on other social media platforms like Instagram or Facebook. They appear in users for you feeds, and they blend in with the organic content.
So they're not like super obvious?
No, they're designed to feel native to the platform.
Okay, so what's the key to making them effective?
The key is authenticity.
Always authentic.
Remember, that's king on TikTok.
Yeah.
Your in-feed ads should be visually appealing, use trending sounds and effects, and really just feel like a natural extension of the content that people are already enjoying.
So no cheesy stock footage?
Yes,
Or overly salesy language?
definitely not.
Gotcha. Okay, what about branded hashtag challenges? Those sound kind of cool.
Those are a really fantastic way to get users involved and create a buzz around your brand.
Okay, how do they work?
You essentially create a unique hashtag, and you challenge users to create videos using that hashtag.
So it's like a contest.
Kind of, but it's more about tapping into the power of user-generated content.
So it's not just about reaching a large audience, it's about getting them actively engaged with your brand.
Exactly.
About that.
When people participate in a challenge, they're not just passively watching.
Right.
They're creating, sharing, and spreading the word about your brand in a truly authentic way.
Okay, you mentioned the SocialWick podcast. Give an example of the...
Yeah, they talked about the hashtag Eyes, Lips, Face Challenge by ELF Cosmetics.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
That one went absolutely viral.
It seemed like everyone was doing it.
Billions of views and tons of user-generated content.
That's a lot of exposure.
It's a perfect example of how a well-executed branded hashtag challenge can really take your brand awareness to the next level.
Wow. Okay, what about branded effects? Those sound kind of mysterious.
Branded effects are like custom filters or lenses that users can apply to their videos. They're a fun, interactive way for users to engage with your brand and express their creativity.
Give me an example.
Imagine a filter that adds your brand logo to videos, or a lens that transforms users into characters from your latest ad campaign.
So it's like giving users the tools
Yeah.
to become brand ambassadors.
Exactly.
That's really cool. So we've got in-feed ads, branded hashtag challenges, And branded effects, are those like all of our options?
Those are some of the most popular and effective, but there are other options you can explore,
Okay.
depending on your goals and budget.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
No, not at all.
What's important to remember?
Is that TikTok ads, like everything else on the platform, should be driven by authenticity
Authenticity?
and a deep understanding of your target audience.
Right, because if you're not authentic, people are going to see right through it.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's not just about throwing money at the platform.
And hoping for the best.
No, you need to be strategic and thoughtful in your approach.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, TikTok offers some really robust analytics tools
Oh, that's good.
that allow you to track the performance of your ads and make data-driven decisions.
So we can actually see what's working
Exactly.
and what's not.
You can see which ads are driving the most engagement,
Yeah.
which demographics are responding best, and even track conversions.
Wow. So we can really measure our ROI.
Absolutely.
Data nerds rejoice. But what about influencer marketing? Does that play a role on TikTok?
Absolutely. Influencer marketing is huge on TikTok.
Okay.
They even have their own creator marketplace
Yeah.
where brands can connect with influencers across all sorts of niches.
So can I just find an influencer with 1 million followers and send them a free product?
Hold on. It's not quite that simple.
Okay.
Choosing the right influencers is crucial.
So it's not just about the number of followers. No, it's about finding the right fit. You need to make sure they align with your brand values, that their audience overlaps with your target market, and that their content feels authentic.
Right, because a mismatch between your brand and the influencer can actually damage your credibility.
Exactly.
So it's about finding those genuine connections that resonate with your audience.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. From the unique appeal of TikTok's algorithm to the different types of content that work on the platform, and even the strategic use of TikTok ads and influencer marketing.
We have.
It's clear that TikTok is more than just dance videos and funny memes.
Mhm.
It's a powerful platform for brands to connect with their audience in new and creative ways.
I agree.
But I have to ask, what does this all mean for the future of marketing?
That's the big question.
Is TikTok just a fleeting trend? Or is it a sign of things to come?
I think TikTok's emphasis on authenticity and discoverability is definitely shaking things up in the marketing world.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
And I think it's a sign of a larger shift that's happening.
Okay, how so?
We're seeing a move away from perfectly curated, overly polished content and towards something more real, more raw, and more human.
It's almost like a rebellion against the ad-saturated, hypo-perfect world we've been living in online.
I think there's something to that. People are craving genuine connection, and brands that can tap into that, regardless of the platform, are going to be the ones that thrive.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners today? What should they be thinking about as they navigate this ever-evolving digital landscape?
What are the key things they should be focusing on to succeed in this new world of authenticity and discoverability?
What are the key things they should be focusing on to succeed in this new world of authenticity and discoverability?
I think the biggest takeaway, honestly, is don't be afraid to be real. Let go of this idea that everything has to be perfectly polished and curated.
I feel like we're just so used to seeing those like picture-perfect Instagram feeds,
Right.
super slick ads,
Mm-hmm.
that it's easy to forget that like real life isn't like that.
Exactly. And I think people are starting to crave something more authentic, something that they can actually relate to on a deeper level.
So how do brands find that balance
Yeah.
of like being authentic and real, but still showcasing their products or services
Yeah.
in a way that's appealing and engaging?
It's all about finding your voice, like your brand's personality, and letting that shine through in everything you do.
So instead of trying to fit into this like preconceived mold of what a brand should be,
Right.
you're giving yourself permission to be like a little messy, a little imperfect.
Yeah, embrace the imperfections.
And that's what makes you stand out.
Exactly, because that's what people are actually drawn to. They want to connect with brands that feel real, that feel human.
So it's not just about the product. It's about the story behind the product,
Mm-hmm.
the people behind the brand.
Exactly. And TikTok has created this space where those stories can be told in a way that's really engaging and entertaining.
It's almost like TikTok has given us permission to be ourselves online,
I agree.
which is something we haven't really seen before.
Yeah, it's refreshing.
Okay, so as our listeners are thinking about their own TikTok strategies,
Mm-hmm.
what are some key things to keep in mind?
First and foremost, remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Don't expect to go viral overnight.
Yeah.
Focus on building a genuine connection with your audience over time.
So consistency is key.
Consistency is key.
Show up regularly, provide value, engage with your followers.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment. Try different types of content. See what resonates. TikTok is all about creativity and innovation.
Yeah.
So have fun with it.
And you don't have to be a professional videographer to create engaging content.
Absolutely.
Authenticity trumps production value every time.
Use your phone, use natural lighting, and just be yourself.
So to wrap up this deep dive into TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
what's the one thing you want our listeners to walk away with?
I want them to embrace the power of authenticity. In a world that's increasingly saturated with noise and artificiality, authenticity is what cuts through the clutter and makes real impact.
Beautifully said. Be real. Be relatable.
Yeah.
And have fun. Those are the keys to success on TikTok and beyond.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This has been The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep diving deeper.